A formerly professional boxer named Charlie Kenton participates in robot boxing tournaments all around the country, but he keeps losing. After a long and stressful night, Charlie finds himself in his car one morning, surrounded by empty beer bottles. A man calls to ask about his overdue debt of $30,000. Charlie insults the person by using the foolish name, and the guy finds out that the boxer owes money to more than just him. Charlie pretends he's having problems connecting after he hangs up. A crowd of girls rush over to meet the legendary fighting robot ambush. One of the females takes out her camera to take a picture of the robot, but Charlie insists on paying $5. The kids go since they don't think it's fun to play with a broken metal toy. At the fair, Charlie sees his old friend Ricky, who now works as the manager of the arena. He has promised Charlie $3,000 if Charlie can tame one of his bulls. The trade also includes an 800-pound bull, and ambushes opponent as double his weight. Charlie has staked $20,000 on Ricky emerging victorious from the bout. His decision is to risk it all. Ricky agrees to the bet, but warns Charlie that he would face severe consequences if he loses again and can't pay back the money. Conflict arises following Charlie's overbearing presentation of ambush to the spectators. The robot is initially quite good in evading attacks. Charlie fails to notice the enraged bull approaching the robot from behind because he is too busy interacting with the audience. Accidentally cutting Ambush's leg, the beast rams into him. Even when Charlie begs Ricky to stop fighting, Ricky revels in seeing his opponent lose. The ambush becomes little more than a pile of metal as kids dismantle it for their own personal treasures. Charlie, who is short of cash, tries to cleverly pass Ricky without attracting suspicions. Charlie punched one of the two men without knowing they would ask for money from him. Unfortunately, Charlie learns from strangers the dreadful news: his ex-wife has died, leaving their 11-year-old son Max without a father. Despite not caring for his son, Charlie goes to court to sign a release of custody document. In order to facilitate the adoption of the kid, Charlie sells the parenting rights of his late ex-wife to affluent relatives for $100,000. He offers to spend the summer with Max in return for a $50,000 down payment, hoping to deepen their bond. With the money, Charlie buys Noisy Boy, a high-quality voice-controlled robot, from the black market. Bailey Tallet, who lived with Charlie and was his mentor's daughter, returns to the gym with a bang. She chastises him for the expensive purchase because he still has rent to pay. He attempts to win over his lover, but she interrupts him, claiming she must take care of the expenses. Max is taken in by his relatives. Not his father's sale of him, but the fact that he did not get a share of the profits crushed him. Charlie thinks it was a total bust to spend money on the robot, and Max can just walk out if he's not satisfied. The little boy stays until he watches the Noisy Boy unveil his surprise. All of them is staring at the samurai armored fighter the second he walks out of the box. Charlie checks out the voice controls by commanding the robot to fight, but it has little effect. When the man realizes he was tricked, he blames Bailey for not checking the robot's authenticity. By communicating with the robot in its original Japanese, Max demonstrates that he is smarter than the adult users. Once Noisy Boy accepts, Bailey finds out that all they have to do is change his voice control settings. Charlie loads his robot into his vehicle and prepares it for the next competition after a brief presentation. After Max steals the car keys, he implores his father to let him come along so he won't be stranded. Charlie grudgingly agrees to go with him to a fight club underground, where they will meet a lot of other robots. The event organizer, Finn, is pleaded with by Charlie, who is certain that Noisy Boy would triumph this time, to include him in the main event. Max tries to talk his arrogant dad out of joining by reminding him to ease into it and not put the robot through its paces on a real battlefield. Noisy Boy faces up against the Fight Club's star, Midas, after Charlie disregarded his warnings. A flurry of ecstatic yells breaks out from the audience as Noisy Boy unleashes a barrage of powerful blows on his opponent. Charlie is overjoyed because he is about to collect the easiest money he has ever had. As a means of sorting out which of Noisy Boy's commands sounds better, Charlie reads them aloud in sequence. Because he knows more about the capabilities of his robot, Charlie's opponent instantly knocks Noisy Boy down and smacks him on the head. After the mistake, the remaining way to controlling the robot is their voice. The fact that Max criticized his dad for challenging the champion before learning Noisy Boy's regular commands is completely logical. If Charlie doesn't want his son to spend the night on the street, he urges him to remain quiet and stay inside. They stop at the junkyard on their way home to look for parts to fix the robot. While Max observes, Charlie fills Max in on the history of boxing robots and how they finally replaced human boxers. Max faints and plummets from a precipice while he listens to his dad. In the end, Max's life is saved by a robotic hand. Rushing down the cliff to his terrified child, Charlie quickly lowers him to the ground and cradles him close. Shockingly, he discovered a robot that was completely buried in the mud. Asking his father to bring the cart will allow the child to bring their loot home. Charlie declined to help Max because the robot seemed worthless. Max climbs the steep slope by himself, pulling the robot until morning. At last, he leads the way to the car. The sight of Noisy Boy's corpse horrifies Bailey upon their return to the gym. The woman expresses her disappointment and urges Charlie to stop squandering his life away on an unattainable ideal. The man persuades Bailey to help him out for one last test run with the robot that Max brought. The robot in issue is an older model that was intended for use as a sparring partner instead of a fighter. The robot turns on, and to Bailey's surprise, it has a shadow function that lets it mimic human movement. As Max removes the robot from the muck, he discovers that its name is Atom. The young man suggests covering up Robot Wars with the locating so he can make some fast money. Max secretly activates Atom at the gym at night. While walking late at night, he enjoys controlling a robot for the first time. Max asked Bailey about his father in the morning. As she enthusiastically recounts Charlie's boxing history, she emphasizes that he persevered against the most formidable opponents. He could not become a champion because his fighting talents were no longer needed in the robot era. Charlie stops Bailey to say he and his youngster are headed to Atlanta to find a robot buyer. Charlie leaves Max in the foyer to wait for Finn as he searches. Tak Mashido, who developed Zeus, meets the reporters. He tells them with conviction that Zeus will beat his enemies in battle. At the same time, Charlie asks Finn to lend him money because they used to be friends, but Finn doesn't trust him. He lets Max fight in the zoo to make his son lose himself and disappear, feeling uncomfortable and annoyed. Max wakes Charlie up the next day after Atom training. He manually cleaned the robot and wrote directions using Shadow. Charlie seems surprised by how persistent his son is, and he knows deep down that this is something his son received from him. When they arrive where the fight is taking place, Max makes a deal with the leader. This boy will take $1,000 if Atom lasts for one round. But the leader will take the robot if it doesn't make it. The battle starts, and Max takes control of Atom. The robot doesn't attack. It only protects itself by taking enemy hits slowly. To avoid the robot's strikes, Charlie tells his son to move around more. However, the enemy grabs Atom and hits him in the head, making him fall. It's time for the round to end, and the robot only has 30 seconds to get up. When Max tells Atom to stand up, he does, and the boy wins $1,000 right away. The leader doesn't like this result and offers to double the prize money if the robot makes it through one more round. Charles is now trying to talk his son out of this dangerous adventure, but Max accepts. As soon as the second round starts, Atom jumps and hits the enemy hard, rendering his system useless. Max triumphs and happily accepts his reward as the crowd cheers. The boy trains with the robot again the next day and tries to teach it new things. Max is bored, so he chooses to dance with Atom. It's easy for him to copy Max's moves. When Charlie walks up to them, the boy tells his dad that he put Noisy Boy's voice control on Atom, which means they no longer need a control panel. He tells his dad to use the shadow tool to teach Atom how to box. Charlie doesn't want to at first, and he tells his son to make Atom's dance the most interesting thing in the ring. Max is willing to dance, but only if his dad shows the robot how to box first. So begins their hard work as a team. In the next morning, Charlie teaches the robots how to fight, and Max starts every battle with a dance. Atom keeps winning, and this brings the father and son closer together. Charlie gives some of the money he wins in small-town fights to Bailey to help him pay off his debt with interest. Everyone falls in love with the dancing robot right away, and now he's even in the news. Charlie and Max are asked to play in the Real Steel Champions League tournament because the robot is so popular. Charlie is getting Atom ready for the fight in his mind while Max sets him up. Charlie tells Atom that he should leave his feelings outside of the big ring. A manager walks into their workplace and invites them to Farah Lemkova's lodge, which is owned by Zeus. She wants to buy Atom for $200,000 because she wants Atom being sparring partner for Zeus. Before the first round with his rival Twin Cities, the deal is still active. Charlie agrees right away, but Max says no and walks out of the room. Charlie tries to get his son to take the good deal, but his son tells his dad to think about why Lemkova would want to spend so much money on a robot. Adam is important to Max, and he has no plans to sell his metal friend. The loud crowd cheers as the two-headed robot Twin Cities enters the ring. Max does a fight dance to let Adam out. The fight starts with the robots, and within minutes, the enemy hits Adam so hard that he can't counterattack. Finally, Charlie sees Twin Cities' weak spot. Every time he hits, his right shoulder twitches. Adam jumps under the opponent's arm and starts hitting him hard in the body. While Twin Cities' right side is already weak, Adam hits him in the head and knocks him out. The crowd starts to cheer loudly. Bailey also screams with happiness. Max jumps into the ring and grabs the referee's microphone. In public, he dares Zeus, Farah Lemkova's robot, to a fight. After that, he and his dad take the money they won and head to the van. Suddenly, Ricky appeared there and tells the bad guys to attack them to get his money back. Charlie is beaten up, and they take all their money. As a way to keep his son safe, Charlie takes him to the people who are legally responsible for him. The boy begs his dad, with tears in his eyes, to let him stay with him, but Charlie wants to take another chance. Charlie won't take the other half of the money for the sale of custody, and Max gets mad and goes to pack. Charlie tries to get his son to go stay with his relatives by telling him that he doesn't think he's good enough for Max. Max tells Charlie goodbye by saying that he wants his dad to fight for him. As Charlie drives home, he thinks about the time he spent with Max. She is happy when he lies down next to her. Charlie was going to take his son in the morning, but she talks him out of it and tells him that it's not too late to fix their relationship and make up for lost time. After a kiss, Charlie goes to see Max. He says to his son that he feels bad for not being there for all these years. He begs for another chance and says Charlie will fight for him this time. Adam and Max see each other after he leaves. Charlie tells her that he plans to get to the event and that Zeus agreed to play. According to the hosts of the Champions League, Tak Mashido said that yesterday's fight with the old robot Adam was an insult to his own creation. The news was terrible for the Zeus team's PR, but they had to face the challenge. They finally arrived at the event. Finn is now taking bets at odds of 1 to 5 on whether the trash robot will make it to the end of the round or not. Ricky walks up to him and bets $100,000 that Adam won't make it through the first round. He stands to win $500,000 if his bet wins. As a welcome show for Zeus, he jumps into the ring in a way that makes everyone cheer. Adam comes out in a more humble way, and the fight starts. When Zeus hit him for the first time, Adam collapsed instantly. Everyone watching is sure that the winner will win quickly. Adam gets back up, but right away he takes a bunch of hard blows and goes down again. When the robot gets up for the fourth time, Zeus corners him. Eventually, Charlie gets himself together and attacks the enemy. He then moves backwards. Much to everyone's surprise, Adam takes the lead in the fight and keeps hitting Zeus. Even though his opponent is very strong, the old robot stays upright until the end of the first round. Finn captures Ricky as he quickly attempts to leave the building and takes his money. Adam bravely makes it through the second and third rounds of the fight. In the fourth round, Zeus uses all of his power on the enemy, hurting him very badly. Another blow breaks Adam's method for controlling his voice. The robot manages to hold out until the end of the round, even though his chances of winning are now very small. Max uses the shadow tool to try to get his dad to control Adam. The boy sees that Mashido and Lemkova are getting tense because they are afraid of what the old robot can do. In the end, Charlie gives in to his son's persistent pleas. Although Adam can't hear him, he acts as a guide and gives the robot a speech to get him ready for the fight. The last and fifth rounds start. The opponent is worn out because Charlie holds the block. Max starts to fear that Zeus will break his robot. He tells Max, "It's not time to fight yet." Charlie gives Zeus a number of crushing blows after waiting for him to run out of power. Tak Mashido takes control of Zeus and starts to lose to the champion of real steel. In spite of this, Charlie hits his opponent in the head with a strong punch and knocks him out. Zeus gets up, but Charlie strikes him again, using the robot to test all of his fighting skills. An ancient gong sounds, signaling the end of the fight and saving Zeus from total defeat. The crowd cheers and calls out Adam's name. Bailey jumps up on stage and gives Charlie a kiss. Zeus is still the winner in the Real Steel Championship because he has more points than Adam. Farah Lemkova's company, on the other hand, lost the fight badly. Adam wins and is named the People's Champion, which makes Max very happy. The boy easily understands that his father loves and is proud of him by falling into his arms. Along with Adam, they go to the middle of the ring to enjoy their fame and success. Thank you for coming, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.